trying to be the fittest old age pension in the country.
80-year-old Brian Lewis has been waiting for a hip replacement in his home near Manchester since the lockdown began. Like millions of others, Brian was on the list for elective surgery before coronavirus, but since March, everything is on hold. He could cope with the pain for a few months and has been doing Zoom calls with his physiotherapist, but now is finding it very difficult.
This side here is completely gone from here to there, where the pain used to just be in the hip. Now it's the whole here, this whole of this leg is, I've got these big muscles in my legs which I can move, I've always been a very fit guy, but this excruciating pain. And I've reached the stage now where the deterioration has been so great, and the last 3 weeks I've been put onto a stick.
Doctors around the country are looking at ways that they can remotely assist the thousands of patients that are waiting for joint surgeries. This includes the creation of new apps and tools that can monitor them in new and detailed ways.
Thank you. Welcome to our lab.
Fantastic.
Whoever you are, wherever you are.
This free app provides digital access to some of the orthopedic services a patient waiting for a knee or hip replacement surgery would expect to have in person.
Downloading this app is a great first step towards making a successful recovery from your surgery.
It's part of a service called My Recovery, which allows surgeons to monitor their patients at home. The coronavirus pandemic has accelerated the team's work to design more advanced ways of generating useful patient data for doctors.
These are infrared cameras, and they are all triangulated off of these dots.
Right.
So these are typically used in the computer gaming industry or in the film industry.
Using datasets from gait analysis labs around the world, they're training algorithms on millions of data points to create a new camera system that could one day be used with a simple smartphone camera connected to the internet. This would recreate the sophistication of a fully fledged gait analysis lab in anyone's pocket, enabling a surgeon the ability to confidently assess range of motion in a patient's knee post-surgery without anyone having to leave home.
So to create the algorithm, it has to be able to work on somebody's phone. So it has to be small and unique and quick. But to make that algorithm, we've had to process a lot of data over a lot of years.
Because of the vast amounts of training the algorithm has gone through, it can accurately identify the anatomy and range of movement to a degree similar to wearing a morph suit in an expensive gait lab.
So we are particularly interested in human motion capture. So we've taken lots of inspiration from the gaming world. What we're doing is a very accurate version of this using artificial intelligence to accurately measure joint function. So for a surgeon, can this technology through a smartphone camera tell the surgeon if that patient's leg is straight after surgery?
One of the hospitals advocating the use of these tools is in Wrightington. Birthplace of the modern hip replacement, the team here want to see more day case surgeries to shorten the time people spend in hospital and help clear the backlog.
There is an app in development, a specific version of the My Recovery app to support the day case patients. You can get a lot of information just by talking, but there are some things clearly you need to have some kind of examination. So some system to be able to, for example, measure the range of movement of a joint, accurately would be of benefit.
Artificial intelligence could be used in other ways to clear the backlog of cases. C2AI, an approved user of the NHS dataset, is offering a system of triaging surgeries. Their aim is to be able to prioritize patients based on their operative risk and physiology to rank them in order of priority. They've identified 14 key variables that correlate with risk of mortality and would be able to look at the whole country's surgical backlog at once.
We have a version of this where we can bulk load the full elective surgical list in one, so we're considering everybody against everybody.
If you're a patient, how do you think they react to something like this? Do you think people would feel neglected somehow if an AI is doing this?
I think people would want to know that there is a logic to it, and that if they're waiting behind people, that those people have a greater need. And that rather than it being done in an inefficient manner, that's been done in a logical manner.
There are large numbers of patients on list, records in terms of maybe their comorbidities. Have they got other problems which might mean that they're higher risk? So artificial intelligence could be used to sort of scan all that data and algorithmically come up with a list of patients that fit a certain category, a certain priority, rather than clerks having to go through that, or clinicians indeed having to go through all that data to try and prioritise patients.
I think the algorithm would probably be more sensible and more useful than somebody doing it, because they're going to use the pain thing, 1 to 10, old-fashioned thing, whereas an algorithm, there can be so many other things that can be taken into account that a human being can't take into account.
Brian and millions of other patients signed up for elective surgery may still have many months to wait, but using vast amounts of patient data and powerful computing systems can help the process and get them in and out of the hospital faster.